Welcome again to Selenium with C# training. So today we are going to discuss about the switch case statement, and then we can start with the loops. So switch case statement, right? So I want to select one choice, right? There are different options are there. Say for example, now I want to perform the arithmetic operation. So I have to give the choice to the user that whether he has to select the addition, then multiplication, right? So we have to give the numbering, right? Menu driven kind of thing. That okay, if he select one, then it will perform the addition. If he select two, then it will perform the multiplication, so on and so on, right? So how to do this using a switch case statement, right? So let's go and check it out. How to do this using switch case statement. Now understand the syntax of the switch case, right? Switch is a keyword, right? Choice is nothing but that that you have to give the choice to the user that he is going to select that, right? So the case choice one, suppose he selects something, the choice one, then it performs say some operation, and then we have to give the break statement, right? If you don't give the break over here, then it will go for the the case choice two also, right? So that's why we have to give the break statement. Remember this, right? Then the case in the choice two and so on, and there is something called as a default. Say user enters something which is not there, say choice one, choice two, and if I enter choice three, but the choice three is not here, right? So it will go into the default, and then it will print the statement. Okay, so again the break is also there. So let's go and check it out, this how to perform this switch case, right? So switch is there, then in the case keyword, and then the some in the choice, and then the colon, very important, and then you have to do some action, and then you have to give the break. So let's go and try to do this. Now what I want to do is I want to perform the addition of two numbers. So I have to declare integer variable, say a equals to 10 and b equals to say 5, right? Okay, and there is a choice also there, right? So, say for example, now I want to give the choice ch is equal to 1. Right now it's 1. So later on we are going to check or see that how to get it from the user's input, right? So meanwhile, I just declare it. Now let's go with the syntax. This is a choice into bracket. It's a switch, and then the choice is there, right? So let me just go with the switch and then ch. Okay, and then opening and closing curly. So within case one, right? The case one, what I want to perform is I want to perform the addition of two numbers, right? So here in the console, we have to see that in the console dot write line. Okay, so select, you know, select your choice, right? Whether one is for addition, two is for subtraction, and so on, right? Three is for multiplication and all, right? So meanwhile, I just entered this, that is a one, right? Okay. So for just understanding purpose, so the case one, if he enters one, right, then what? Console dot write line a plus b. Okay, a plus b. You want to say that it's an addition? Okay, you can. You have to give the addition also. Then the case two, right? Case small case, then two console dot write line, right? If I go with the choice two, then it should perform minus, right? Subtraction, and then break statement. Okay. Then the next is case of three, that is multiplication. So let me just copy this. Case of three. Okay, so case of three, I want to perform A into B, right? A into B and break. And then the last one is nothing but it is a default one, right? Console dot write line, wrong choice, try again, wrong choice, try again, right? So this is how you have to perform. So let me just give within a double quotes and then break, right? Now the syntax is over, done. So everybody can see this, right? What we did is So we have three cases. First case is perform addition, right? Then the second case performs the subtraction, and then the third case performs multiplication, and so on and so on. Right, so let me just save this file and then quickly run it. So the choice is 1. So CH, switch of choice is 1. So it will perform the addition of two numbers. So it's 10 plus 5. So we should get the 15 answer, right? And here I'm using, you can see that we are getting the answer is 15. Perfectly right. So suppose if I go and change this choice. Okay, now I gave here it is 2. Okay, and then again run it and then see that. Okay, 10 minus 5, it's 5. Okay, now let's enter something else which is not there. So the choice 6, which is not there. Okay, and if I run it, so that is a wrong choice. Okay, so this is how you have to perform this in the switch case statement. Right, now the next is, let's understand these loops. So loops are very easy. Those who are already familiar with the C language, it's very simple. So let's understand the for loop. So basically the for loop is executes the blocks of the code that is repeatedly until the test condition or the condition is satisfied. Right? So syntax for loop, then initial value, then whatever your target value or the condition is, and then whether you want to increment or decrement, and you want to perform this task, right? So let's go and check it out. The for this array, okay. So I'm going to store some values in the array, right? And I'm going to print all this array. So we have already done this using a for loop, correct? So let's go and do this for loop. Okay, so let's go and do this for loop. So let me just go and use a for loop, right? So in the for loop, so let's initialize the integer of I equals to the 1. So I want to print 1 to 10 first. Let's print 1 to 10, and then we can go ahead with this in the numbers at the array. Okay, so let's go and do this. Say for example, for loop initial value, right? So you can see this is the syntax has come. I equals to initially it's 0. Okay, then what I want to do, I want to print I is equals to 5 till 5 and I plus plus. Okay, and then just write it down the console, the console dot write line, console dot write line of I, right? Okay, and then just print. Okay, so it will print 1 to 5, correct? So it starts with initially we have declared that as the initial value is I is 0. Okay, and that's why it's printed 0 to 5. Now if you go and make it this 1 to 5, correct? So it will print 1 to 5. Fine. This is what very simple for loop. Now the next is, let's understand this. Let me just declare some array. Okay, integer of num and 10, 20, and the 30, initialize this array. So let's go with the second example of for loop. Okay, so this is what we initialize it. Now I want to print all the values of this, right? I want to print all these values. So let's go and print, right? Using a for loop. Say for integer of I, so I is already there, right? And the scope of the I was limited. It's over there. So we are not getting any error for this, right? So I equals to 0. Array starts with indexing 0. So that's why we have to give the 0. Then I is less than num dot length, right? And then I plus plus. So console dot write line num of I, correct? So this is what we use for loop. Okay, so let's check 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Perfectly right. And it's printing 1 to 5. Okay. Now what we have to go? We have to do the sum in the that is for loop. We have to get the sum of first and natural numbers. Okay, say for example, the 5 is there. So till 5, it will give the sum of this natural numbers. So we have to initialize integer of n equals to 5, then the sum equals to 0. So this is first we have to initialize. Okay, we have to initialize, say, integer of n equals to 5 and then the sum is 0. Now what I want to perform, I want to perform use for loop integer of I equals to 1 and then I is less than till 5 equals to 5 and I plus plus. So initially some value is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1, correct? For the second iteration, okay, so it increments. I is increments to, again, the initially I is what? I is initially, the 0, right? Say 0 plus I. Okay, so it's 0 plus 1, it's 1, and then it will print again for the second iteration, then the 2. Okay, so it will check till in the 5 iteration. Okay, so it will get add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, correct? So let's go and check it out this in the for loop. And now there is a one way of printing again. Okay, so you want to print the sum of, right, sum of 0, the natural numbers equals to 1. Now you can see that we use a curly braces. Okay, we use a curly braces of 0, natural number is 1, and we give the comma, and then the n is nothing but this 5. Okay, the counter gets started with initially 1 2 3 4, right? And it will get the addition of this, the values. So let's go and check it out this. Okay, so using this for loop. Okay, so let me just give this semicolon. Okay, so instead of sum is equal to sum plus I, we can give sum plus I equals to 1. Okay, right? And this is called as a unary operator, right? It performs addition and equals. Okay, so the sum of 5 natural numbers is 50, correct? So it's added the 5. Let me just go and change the value of, instead of 5, say I want to get the values of 8. Okay, so let's go and check it out the count. So 8 natural numbers, we are getting 36. Okay, so hope that everybody is clear about this for loop, right? So we have discussed about the switch case, right? That the choice to the user, okay, he enters something, then it will perform that particular line of code, right? If you don't give the break, then it will go for the second case also, right? Fine. And then we use a for loop, right? And this is a very simple examples of for loop, right? There is a one more for each loop. Okay, there is a something called as a for each loop. In addition to this for loop, we can also perform the for each loop when we are working with an array or a list, right? Say for example, there is a characters are there. Okay, let's take an example of this, and let's use a for each loop. Okay, let me go with a for each loop. Let's understand this. So see, this is what the character of array and then the message. Okay, so these are the single quotes. Okay, so HELLO, hello. Okay, so H is there, then HE, right, HELLO, right. Then again L comma L comma and then O, right. Now let me just go and print this using a for each loop. Okay, so for each, okay, character of I, right, everything, all this HELL0 is getting stored in I, and just we have to print this I. That's it. Okay, so this is what about for each loop, right? So for each character of I in MSG, then console.write I. Okay, so let's execute this and then see that we are getting hello, right? So this is what about the for each loop. So hope that everybody is understood this switch case, then for loop and for each loop. In the next session, we are going to discuss about the while loop. While, do while loop. It's very simple, right? So we are going to take a very simple examples of the while and do while loop, and then we can go ahead with the exception handling and all. Okay. So thank you very much and keep learning.